I knew that one would work. Welcome to SelectCon. So I want to kick things off by getting a show of hands. Who has been to a SelectCon before? Okay, I see a few hands. I see a few familiar faces in here. But for those of you who are new, SelectCon was created to bridge the gap in the music industry. And this year, it's not just another event. It's a celebration of creativity, innovation, and collaboration. And we're here to give out free game, helping artists, creators, and entrepreneurs design a future we all want to live in. So, today's theme is the route to independence. And we got a big New York City vibe going on. And we brought out some incredible people for these panels. And some really dope artists and activations are going on all day. And since it's the middle of the afternoon on a Thursday, I know y'all are serious about soaking up these gems. So, I hope y'all got y'all notepads ready because this panel is gonna be a good one. Without further ado, let's jump into the panel. I'm Goldie Harris. I'm a DJ and host based here in New York City. And on my spare time, I'm the Director of Commerce at UnitedMasters. And I have the pleasure of working with artists like Brent Faiyaz, BigXthaPlug, Anycia, FloyyMenor, and Earth Gang. And that's just to name a few. But, yeah, let's do that. But today's panel is not about me. Today, we're speaking about the importance of mentorship, and we got some incredible speakers lined up for you all. So please join me in welcoming our panelists to the stage. UnitedMasters VP of Music and Head of A&R, Mike Weiss. Ally's Senior Director of Corporate Citizenship, Natalie Brown. Music executive and photographer, Lenny S. And last but not least, American designer and founder of Denim Tears, Treamine Emory. Okay, first I want to thank you all for joining us. How you guys feeling? How you feeling?
Oh, good. Fantastic.
Okay, good. So let's kick this off. This question is for the entire group, and we'll run down the line. So share with us, what is it that you do exactly, and how does one get into the field that you are so deep in? How did you get your start?
So my role at Ally is to lead charitable giving and community-based programming. So I'm responsible for providing grants and sponsorships to nonprofit partners that we work with across the country, focused in economic mobility, specifically around affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development. I also have the pleasure to spearhead a program that we do called Moguls in the Making for HBCU students. Any HBCU alums in the house? Aggie Pride? HU in the house? Okay, all right. Golden John C. Smith in the house? Okay, all right. And so Moguls is a program where we bring 50 students in to compete for an entrepreneur competition. We've given out over $1 million in scholarships for that program, along with some other programs we do around workforce development.
Thank you.
It's hard to follow that.
Yeah,
Lenny S., I'm at Rock Nation. I've been at Rock since inception. Started out doing street promotion, graduated to doing A&R work, and then graduated to doing management. So I'm on the management side now at Rock Nation. I manage DJ Khaled. I have an agency on the side as well, where I do special projects, working with FIFA, Puma, etc. And I also do photography on the side as a hobby. And I have 2 books coming on Random House, and do special projects. Did a project with New Era where I shot a campaign, a lookbook for them. So stuff like that, I guess, in summary.
My name is Treamine Emory from Jamaica, Queens, and I'm the founder and owner, creative director of Denim Tears. Also used to be creative director Supreme, brand director Yeezy, creative director Good Music, art director at large of Stussy. And I got started working in clothing, stock guy at Marc Jacobs in 2006. and worked my way from there without, at times, not even knowing it, and then got some steam when I moved to London. It's a long story, so I'll leave it at that.
Cool. Hey, everybody. I'm Mike Weiss. I am the VP of Music, head of A&R at UnitedMasters. So I co-lead our label business, our premium artist business, and run A&R at UnitedMasters. So that's the discovery of new artists, our entire roster, signing that roster, making the records, being a part of the creative process, and then everything that goes into running that business. So been at UnitedMasters 6 years, so been a part of the ascension of what we've become, and it's amazing to see everybody here.
Make some noise for our panelists, please. So since today's conversation is about the importance of mentorship, I have another question for the entire group. How important was mentorship for you coming up? Is there anyone specific that stands out for you that helped you in your journey?
Yeah, 100%. I think, coming out, as you can hear from the accent, I'm from North Carolina, country girl, and raised by a single mom. And so, I think going into corporate America from A&T was an eye-opening experience for me. And what I learned very early in my career is how important mentors were to help me navigate corporate America. Every company, every team in that company has a different culture. And so, some of the best advice that I've gotten over the years has been things like, leverage your power, the power of the relationships, how important networking and relationships are. And so I think, one of the things that I try to tell students and other professionals that I may coach is that you got to have a board of directors. And some of those board of directors may be your peers, they may be folks reporting to you, or they may be leaders in whatever discipline you're in, but it's important to have a group of people that you can rely on.
Yeah, I think mentorship is super important. Coming up in the game, in the music business, it's kind of hard to navigate and not knowing and learning on the fly. You know what I mean? You can't, even if you go to school for music, it doesn't prepare you for what happens in the music business per se, especially outside of the business. And I think mentorship starts with relationships, and I'm really big on building relationships, keeping them, and using them as resources for everything I'm working on. Big John was one of my mentorships. He's one of the biggest publishers in the world. Obviously, Jay. And yeah, it's the foundation. Now I mentor way more people that I had mentor me because I understand the importance of it. But it's something I really stand by.
I'd say my first mentors were the autobiographies and the books that I read. When I was a kid, my dad told me to read the autobiographies of people that I'm interested in, and they do things that I'm interested in doing, and see that they're not that much different than me, and they make certain choices in their life that lead them a certain place, and you see the obstacles that they come up against, this, that, and the third. So, yeah, a lot of my mentors, besides my parents and my extended family down in Georgia and my parents in New York, is really all the books I've read, the autobiographies, whether it be Malcolm X, reading the Apology, Socrates, written by Plato, Assata Shakur. I can go on, James Baldwin, so on and so forth. Autobiography of Miles Davis. All those things, plethora of literature was my roadmap. And so when I came across things in my path, I'd be like, oh, this reminds me of what I read in Miles's book when he first when he first went to Europe. And you navigate your own way, but it's a great guide reading, and that's the jewel my mom and my dad gave me, among other things, but really was to get my head in the books, and that really started me on my path without me even knowing it.
Yeah, so mentorship for me, to me, it's incredibly important in the fields that we all operate in. The music industry in particular is not really like any other industry. You're not going to a university, as much as universities may have music industry programs, you don't really get the experience or understanding of what it's like to be in it until you're actually in it. And I was fortunate that in my life, very, very fortunate that I'm third generation in the music industry. And so from the time that I was 5, it's what I knew I always wanted to do and had the ability to soak that up from my family. My dad in particular And so having someone that you can go to that is a reference for all the different ins and outs and intricacies of the music industry that is so unique, the politics, the way that you interact with artists, the creative process and the business process, the way that payment is constantly changing, the way that you're making money being a constantly changing factor, and all of the different ways in which artists can make money. The business itself constantly evolving. And so if you are going in blind into that industry, you're either gonna have to learn really fast on the fly, or you're gonna have to have key people that you really trust and can have real confidence in, that can help guide you in those early years. But the mentorship process never really ends. Like it's even as you grow and evolve in your career, I find mentorship flows both ways. You're learning from people that are younger than you, you're learning from people that are peers, you're learning from people that are more senior. It's always just wherever you can find an opportunity to learn, and from people that you can trust and have vision with.
Mike, I'm gonna keep it with you. How has it been seeing young independent artists transition to big mainstream stars? What did that process look like for you?
Yeah, so it's been a blessing, honestly. I'll say the beautiful thing about 2024 and even the past 5 years is that the definition of independence has become so nebulous. I'm really proud that at UnitedMasters we've definitely spearheaded a conversation around artist ownership, about owning masters, what falls into like the democratization of music, of becoming a star. There's not the same gatekeepers. There's not the necessity for radio. There's not the necessity for tens of thousands of dollars of studio time, production costs, pressing and distributing CDs and vinyls. You can find success through your own avenues. And so as long as you have a team around you that's committed to a vision and is willing to work towards consistent progress every day, you can win no matter where you are. And so it's been a blessing to see not just the artists that we've signed and partnered with that have had success, but the fact that we know, given the success, they've never done a deal where they sign their masters away. They know that they own their masters, they own their rights, they own the lion's share of the revenue. And that means that not only will they be able to participate off that for the long term, their kids are gonna get royalty checks, their grandkids are gonna get royalty checks, they're gonna be able to sell their masters at a later date if they want to, and the business has evolved so that you can have success and you can be financially stable.
Speaking about, let's do that. Speaking about financial stability, Natalie, my next question is for you. Working in the finance industry, how would you advise young creators to plan their financial future while still pursuing their creative dreams?
Yeah, I think one of the things is really understanding the basics of budget, the basics of credit. Understanding those basics is where you start, right? If you don't know how to budget, there's so many platforms, there's so many websites, there's Google it, right? Budgeting is so important, especially when you're an artist, right? Because it's not like it's income coming in all the time sometimes, right? Same thing with credit. You gotta understand credit. Your credit score is like your GPA when you were in high school, right? So you know that in order to get good credit, you gotta have a good credit score. And so those mechanics, and then you can move into understanding how to invest your dollars, making sure that you're looking at high yield savings accounts, IRAs, things like that, understanding the financial products. But at the end of the day, you gotta start with the basics.
Thank you. Tremaine, how would you advise up-and-coming creatives to balance staying true to yourself and your story while facing the pressures of what is currently selling in the market?
I'd advise them just to go with your gut. Because, trying to chase things, it's never, what's trending or what's popping, that's what's working for those people. I'm thinking about this because, Steve started UnitedMasters, so I've been thinking about Nas and his relationship. But when they were trying to sign Nas went to Def Jam, they said he sounded like Coogee Rap. So does that mean he should have switched his style? He's become one of the greatest, if not the greatest, rappers of all time, musicians of all time. And he was told by Russell Simmons and them that he sounded like Coogee Rap, it wasn't gonna work. And I just use that as an example is, don't worry about what's going on the outside. You gotta have on horse blinders and focus on what you're feeling, what's your gut feeling in your tribe of people. That should be your litmus test. Your crew that you're rolling with, your tribe of people that actually care about you, and not just that they care about you, they're into the same thing that you're into and live and would die for it. And also your own gut feeling, because that's what I go by. I don't really worry about what's popping or what's doing well on Instagram or that. You know, I see everything, but I focus on what I'm trying to get out.
That leads into my next question for you, Lenny. You have reinvented yourself so many times. The world is forever changing, and how have you remained centered and relevant through it all while consistently raising that bar?
I like to say not getting stuck in a time capsule. I think all the people from our generation or whatever, and people like 40s, 50s, 60s, I think they get stuck in a certain year or a certain era that they love, or the 90s was the best hip hop ever. And while that may be true to you, that may not be true to a lot of other people. So I've learned to evolve over the years, whether it's music, fashion, just anything that's that I'm involved in, and I know you have to evolve and you have to get with the times, and I speak to the youth and I listen to people younger than me. I listen to the OGs as well, but I keep the voices, my ears open to all voices, and I just try to stay as relevant as possible by connecting with everybody as possible. Thank you.
And I have one final question for the entire group, and then we're gonna open it up for a Q&A. What advice would you give your younger self? With big aspirations and dreams, what would be your advice to you?
If I could tell my younger self, it'd be fierce, right? Don't be intimidated, and don't feel like you have, know that the world is at your disposal, right? So I think when I was coming up, it was, kind of dancing, trying to tap dance, trying to figure out, like, what is this corporate America thing? How do I fit in? I'm the only black girl in the room, in the department. I had all different types of experiences, but I think I would have told my younger self today to be fierce and know that you belong in that room and go for it. So
I think it's to be fearless, and I feel a lot of times we talk ourselves out of things because we feel we may not be ready, or it's not the right time, or you're not educated properly enough for it. And a lot of times I talked myself out of opportunities and out of just things that were in front of me that I did deserve, but I didn't think I deserved them. I didn't go to college, so I felt like I properly couldn't be somebody's manager and help them make millions of dollars. Meanwhile, I had gotten them a brand deal, gotten them on the cover of a magazine, and released the #1 album with them. But I'm still like, nah, I can't manage you. I didn't go to business school, you know what I mean? So I would talk myself out of stuff. So be fearless, you can do it, you can accomplish it, and you can execute it.
The only thing I tell my younger self is spend more time, like do vacations, spend more time with people you love. I did a lot of traveling, flying every week for years, and I could have took a little more time to hang out with some friends and family that aren't here anymore. So other than that, that's the main thing, because you can't get that back.
Yeah, I would say for my younger self, it would be, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to look stupid. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And you're not supposed to have all the answers. I felt like when I was coming up, I was supposed to know everything. I was supposed, if I was constantly trying to prevent people from knowing that I may not have all the answers. And that probably inhibited my ability to learn, inhibited the ability to be in new situations where I could be, where everyone in the room is smarter than me. Those are the best opportunities. Those are opportunities where you could be a sponge and not have the kind of the ego or belief that you have arrived or you are there yet. Everything is a work in progress. We're always a work in progress. And as long as we try and take each day to get better, and that's the goal, rather than some level of success that's at the height of a mountaintop, then you're going to win every day as long as you're better than you were yesterday.
Can we, let's make some noise. I really hope everybody is taking notes. That last set of answers were truly inspiring. I feel like what we got out of that was, one, being fierce and also being fearless. So keep that in the back of your mind as you all chase your dreams. We're gonna open up the floor to a Q&A. Production, how are we doing this? Okay, there you go.
So my name's Barrington Roberts, and I just wanted to know what sparks you all to never give up, because there's in times in life where we're like, we just want to stop, but you keep going. So what makes you keep going?
I think for me, it's my kids, right? I have a 18-year-old and a 15-year-old. One's in college, one's in 10th grade, and they really motivate me, right? For me, I'm trying to create experiences for them and opportunities for them to see what they can be. And so as much as I can, leverage my network, open up doors, bring them with me to places to expose them. So to me, that's what motivates me and keeps me moving, is my girls.
Yeah, I would say the same, kids, and just I'm just ambitious, and I want to leave a mark, not for myself really, like for my own legacy, but for the people that I work with, or the team that I work with, or the project that I'm working on. I want that to be able to live way beyond me being here. So really, it's for the culture.
I'd say me personally, it always goes back to my family stuff, and like I said, the book. So, but specifically my family, if I think about my grandmothers and my grandfathers and the stuff they went through, growing up in a segregated Jim Crow South, that's all the motivation you need to whatever obstacle you're dealing with. Is it bad as what they came from? And that's the whole thing of the generational ties. They went through hardships. Make it easier for you. You got to remember the hardships they went through, and you won't give up. And the same will get passed down to your kids, because your kids will be like, well, what I'm going through isn't what my pops and his dad and his grandfather went through. So that's the main thing I lean on. And again, back to the books. If you read, you see these people come to the fork in the road where they want to quit, or they got told no, or they failed or whatever, and you see they persevered through it. You can draw inspiration from other humans, whether it's in a book or your family or a friend. Just draw. The inspiration is there amongst the people we know. You don't got to look on TV. You don't got to look to the movies. It's right in front of you if you decide to hook into it.
Yeah, I'll just say mine is similar to what I said before. Like there are definitely days where it's really tough to get out of bed and get going. To me, it's kind of two things. One is just gratitude. I kind of like go through just the gratitude of what I have, and that kind of puts everything at ease. And it can be, from the shoes on my feet to the phone in my pocket, like just whatever I have, no matter how small, gratitude towards it takes some of that pressure off. And then just that daily progress, as I said before, if I can boil it down to just put myself in better position today than I was yesterday, it takes the weight of like the whole world off of my plate and just focus on what's in front of me, the day ahead, not the week, not the year, not the lifetime, but just today. And that I find always kind of gets my day going.
How you doing? I go by May. I run an independent label from Connecticut, House Money Empire. I have a two-part question for Lenny. Sorry for saying a lot. Coming from the street team, like when you're unproven, how did you balance like when to take creative risks that might further where you're trying to go, and when to play it safe early on when you don't really have like the credibility?
Wait, say the second part one more time.
Like when you don't really have the credibility, like when to, like, how did you balance when to take risk and when to play it safe early on?
I did the street team because I think it was the easiest way to get in. Outside of being an intern, you have to get an internship. I figured street team, they were just rounding people up to promote whatever was on the label, music, single, album, whatever the case may be. And I tried to be as creative as possible. Even back then, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I would hang posters up poles, sky high, so that like I would do things that other street promoters weren't doing. You know what I mean? Or I just think of creative things like that. And I took risks because that's all I had. For me, when I got in the music business, is all I wanted to do. Like I said, I was uneducated. I didn't get to go to college. And I was chasing music since 13 years old. So for me, I had no choice. It was like, be the best at what I'm doing or fold, and I couldn't fold. So
There was no plan. It's safe now. Gotcha. Now, I appreciate your time. I want to hear from everybody. Like, when did y'all, same question goes for everybody.
Can you say that one more time?
Say that one more time.
I just said the same question goes for everybody. Like, early on, when you're trying to prove yourself, how did you balance taking risks and when to play it safe?
I just took it.
Gotcha.
I honestly did. Like, literally, first job, moved to Ohio, didn't know anybody. Second job, a year later, moved to Holland, Michigan, and West Michigan, knew not one soul, right? Because I knew, but what was in my head was I needed certain experiences to get to the job that I was trying to get to. So I made the sacrifice to do that. So for me, it was about the long-term game and the long-term goal of saying, okay, I know I want to do this, so in order to do this, I'm going to have to take this step and this step. And even though socially it might not be the best thing for a 23-year-old black girl in Holland, Michigan, what is less than 1% minority, I didn't care because I was getting the experience I needed, right? And then a year later, I went and got the job I was looking for. And so for me, it was just about being tenacious and intentional about looking ahead. And then at some point in my career, I realized that once I started doing, especially the work that I'm doing now, that I'm doing God's purpose for my life, not my purpose, but his purpose. And so once you recognize it's his purpose for you, then from that point, the doors open up for you.
All right, thank you. Thank you all for your time.
How you doing? I'm Oliver, Brooklyn. I got two. It's for Emory and one is for Lenny. So for Lenny, what would be that song or artist that would be the soundtrack to your life?
Marvin Gaye, What's Going On album. Yeah. It's Marvin Gaye Marvin Gaye.
All right. And for Emory, what was that first piece of art that you created that really spoke to you and said, I got something here?
No one's ever asked me that. It's a good question. Man. Damn. Going back. You know what? I think I couldn't tell you exactly. I could tell you it's the stuff that I didn't try. So things I had in my, there's stuff that you guys see me put out that's been in my brain for 20 years. So I think the inspiration at one point became, oh man, I keep thinking of stuff and pump faking and not, so it's just knowing that I got something, knowing I could do it and not doing it. Does that make any sense? That was the inspiration. Because once I got started, it was like, yeah, I just should have been doing this. But I didn't know, where I grew up, I didn't know anyone that went to art school or fashion. I didn't know about Central St. Martin's or any of that, you know what I mean? So cats played ball and people rapped, made music. So it's always been in me. So it's more so, it's just art. It's always been in my mind.
Thank you.
Is that the final question right there? Okay, that's all the time that we have. I wish we had more time.
Let them ask some more questions.
Can we get one more question? Lenny has to answer one more question. Seconds. Okay, we're gonna do our own thing. Okay, cool.
Hey everybody. My name is Terry, and wow, this like loud. My name is Terry. I'm 26. I'm currently going to school at GCU. I'm studying to be in the sports industry, entertainment industry, same thing. So I would say that I've been in school for the past since 2021. I really don't know like exactly per se like what exactly I wanna do in the sports industry. So I would say like my question to you guys would be like did you like really know exactly what you wanted to do? Because I feel like I have a plan set in stone, but I feel like at my age right now I should have got like in the industry. Like I feel like I'm running out of time.
Yeah, I'll start with this. I can't say I started out my career as a manager. I always knew that I wanted to be kind of more on like the label master ownership side, record side. But at the end of the day, like when you're early in your career, there's one goal, and that's to provide value. And so if you find an area where you can provide value, that will dictate the path that you need to go down and at least get you started on that path. And so it doesn't matter, like when I started, I was like promoting shows in college, putting concerts on, promoting club venues, trying to find ways to add value wherever I could, and then I would manage an artist, put them into that show, put them into that venue. If I can bring 100 people to an event, then I can just slot my artist in, and then they're selling a 100-person show. And that turned into management, that turned into more opportunities, that turned into record making, into A&R, into going in and being on kind of like the record side of thing. But it all started with how can I add value? And if you start from the position not just of what should I be doing, but where can I provide value to others, the path is naturally going to open itself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was a transportation major. I thought I wanted to be the Secretary of Transportation. Nothing in my career did that. So, and I probably had 7 different careers, from HR to diversity to compliance, supply chain. So what I would tell you is, you're in the industry that you want to go in, and then just try to learn as much as you can so that you have transferable skills to take you to the next level, right? And so what he just described is transferable skills, because he did this, or even, Lenny doing street team, all of those skills that they got doing that work led them to where they are today. So make sure that when you're doing it, and then operate in excellence in everything you do, because that's how people notice you, and then that's how the next opportunity in the door opens for you.
Thank you.
And that is our final question. If you guys enjoy this, I don't need you guys to hold back. Please make so much noise for our panelists right now.